Okay, so I have started the recording. So again, there might be some others that join, and that's okay. I'll just let them in as they come along. And for those that were waiting for it for the recording, then they'll be getting a copy of this later on. So I'm going to start with an introduction. My name is Angela Halverson, and I'm going to be your presenter for this webinar, Steps to Starting a Business. It's going to last approximately 1 hour, and I do ask that you keep your microphone muted unless you have a question. If you have a question, there's only a couple of us online today right now, so if you have a question, please feel free to unmute your mic and go ahead and ask the question. And I'll be watching for any of that to happen as well. If you have to leave at any time during the seminar, please feel free to. I understand that, you know, not everyone has the full hour that they can devote. And again, you could always catch up on the video later on. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself and my position here at Rainy River Future Development. If you hear me say RRFDC, that is the acronym for Rainy River Future Development, and so that's what I'm referring to. I am the business investment manager here, and I've been here for over 20 years now, going on 21 years. I help small businesses and with many things such as business planning, information services, training, and then access to capital or access to financing and funding. So we do have money available that you can borrow here. And I'm also going to touch on some of the other funding options that might be available to you as well. Much of my time that I spend here is assisting business people and aspiring entrepreneurs to start their business, or in some cases, expand and grow their business. I spend a lot of time helping them find the appropriate financing, or in some cases, grants to get them started or help them along the way. In my spare time, I also have a small home-based business called Dreamweaver Ranch. It's a horseback riding ranch where I do lessons and birthday parties and other horse-related type events. I've been operating Dreamweaver Ranch since 2014. However, last year I was closed most of the summer due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and have decided to branch out my business to do something a little different. So now I operate another business under the parent company Dreamweaver Ranch called Dreamweaver Designs. And that is where I sell personalized items like coffee mugs, like tumblers, wine glasses, signs, a lot of Christmas type ornaments and gift items. I'm actually branching also into doing t-shirts. So I now have a heat press and can do t-shirts. Those supplies should be on their way here shortly. So I'll be making things like t-shirts and tote bags and aprons, those types of things. So I'll use some examples from my business throughout the webinar. And so if you have any questions at any time, please feel free to ask those questions. And so I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully my screen will show up for you. I'm just going to bring on, there we go. So just give me a little nod or let me know if you can see the website, the Rainy River Future Development website on your screen.
I can.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Leanne, just to make sure everything's working properly. So this is our website. I'm not going to get too much into what this is about today, but certainly if you have any questions, you can always go to our website and contact us through the website, or contact us directly. The webinars that we have upcoming are usually listed on this main page. So right now we're doing this one today. I'm also planning one for next month with regard to applying for financing with Rainy River Future Development. So that will be coming up to watch for as well. And so the next thing I'm going to show you is just going to give you a bit more information about the Community Futures program. And this is a video, just tells you more about Community Futures and what we do. So just 1 second.
Established by the federal government in 1985, Community Futures is a community-based economic renewal initiative, helping rural Canadians to start or expand a business and to help sustain and improve communities and their local economies. Each Community Futures office is staffed with a team of professionals that provide a wide array of business and community economic development services. These services strengthen and diversify local economies, offering financial assistance, business counseling and advice to individuals and small businesses, and entrepreneurship development and training. Typically, the services of Community Futures are targeted to entrepreneurs requiring customized financing that is not normally available from traditional sources. One of the keys to the success of Community Futures is that investment decisions are made by an independent board of directors, sensitive to the needs of their community. Directors are volunteers, generally from the business community, possessing an outstanding commitment to making their community a better place to live and work. Past surveys have indicated that the strength of Community Futures is in their volunteer boards. The knowledge of the local markets, the business environment, and the people are the basis in achieving such effectiveness and success. With 269 offices across Canada, Community Futures are well positioned to offer local solutions to local economies. As a leader in business development, innovation, and community development, together they are showing the world that Community Futures means business.
So that's a little bit more about the Community Futures program. And I see that we have someone that has joined the video. And so Marianne, welcome. And I'm just going to mute your phone for now.
Yep.
And oh, you go ahead, you did it already. So, but if you have any questions at any time, please feel free to unmute your mic and ask a question. If you don't really want to do it that way, you can also just put a question in the chat box and I will see that pop up as well. So feel free to use either of those mechanisms to ask questions. So that was a little bit about the Community Futures program. And now I'm going to jump into the steps to starting a business. And so there are 15 steps that I'm going to go through. So again, I'm going to start by sharing my screen so that you can see what I am looking at and referring to. So let me just get the proper page up. So the first step in the 15 steps is to look at assessing yourself. So becoming an entrepreneur is not for everyone. And I'm just going to start out very bluntly by saying that some people need to have a 9-to-5 or, whatever hour job in order to feel comfortable with their monthly income and expenses. Other people have a higher level of risks that they're willing to take in their personal life and business life. And so the Business Development Bank of Canada, or is referred to as BDC, they have an excellent website with a lot of tools that you can use to help you along the way in business startups. So this is the entrepreneurial self-assessment that you can take. It's a questionnaire that includes 50 statements. So how you answer those statements, it will give you a recommendation as to whether or not you are a good fit for entrepreneurship. And so you would just click the start button and answer the questions and move along through the screens. It's a fairly easy website to navigate, so feel free to do that. Now, all of these links that I'm looking at on my screen will be sent to you afterwards. So don't worry too much about jotting things down or having to find these on your own, but I will be sending these out to you on your email. The next step, step number 2, once you've decided, okay, yes, I feel like I am a potential for entrepreneurship, is to then go and do some research. So steps to starting a business, the very beginning is to really look at planning and planning and planning. So an old saying that I like to use is failing to plan is planning to fail. So you want to make sure that you're planning your business out so that you have a really good idea of where things will go as you go along. So this is a website through the Government of Canada, and it has the steps of planning. It also gets into some of the other things I'm going to talk about in a moment. But doing research is very, very important, not only online research, but doing research of your own in your own local market, or depending on where your business is going to be located. Or if you're going to have an online platform, you might want to do more online research, that kind of thing. So it really depends on the type of business that you're looking at and where your scope and market is going to be. So research, research, research. And then the next stage is to actually start putting your thoughts down on paper in the form of a business plan. So the next website is a business planning guide. This is also a Community Futures program called FedDev. So in our area, we have FedNor. And in Southern Ontario, they have FedDev, and FedDev has provided a very good resource and business planning guide that you can use to help you with your business plan. Also, we have an excellent business plan template that I'll be sending out to you in an email after the session. So you can go ahead and look into the business planning guide here, or also, just gonna hope this is gonna come up. Or okay, so the Futurepreneur program has an excellent online business plan writer. So what's really cool about this tool is that you can actually input everything into this online platform. And you'll see here on the left, it has a list of all of the typical components of a business plan, and it actually walks you through each of the sections. So when you get to, say, for example, pricing strategy, it will give you an example of what you would write in a typical pricing strategy section based on some of the questions that you answered, and how you can actually pull that into your business plan. So it really does help you, keeps it pretty simple. Although I would say this is a bit more of a complex business plan than the one that we use. We use a very simplified version of a business plan, which is nice. I call it the meat and potatoes version because it's just very bare bones what you absolutely need in order to write a business plan. So this site is all, again, I'll be sending this out. This is through the Futurepreneur program. Excellent tools on this website as well. So that's number 3. That's your making a plan. So you have the business plan guide through FedDev. You also have the Futurepreneur and the Renew Over Future Development option as well. So, and literally there are thousands of different business plans out there, business plan outlines or templates. So my suggestion is pick one and just use it. You may want to do a little bit of research on the different funding organizations that you might be applying to, because they may have a specific one that they want you to use. If that's the case, then go ahead and use that one. A lot of organizations, such as even ourselves, if you did a business plan for Futurepreneur, you could use that business plan for us. You wouldn't have to write 2 different business plans. So that's just a little tip there. Step number 4 is planning your finances. So that's always a big part of your business plan. And one of the things that most people have the hardest time with is the financial section of a business plan. So again, Futurepreneur has an excellent tool. They do a cash flow template, and again, can be all written on or like done online. It looks like they have a tutorial in their video series on how to do it. It also, it helps you to figure out what are your startup costs going to be, how you're going to project your sales for the next year to even sometimes 3 to 5 years, depending on the size of the business and where you're planning on applying to. And then it helps you through the actual cash flow. Cash flow is king, as they say in business. Financial statements are great. They're utilized for many purposes, but I find cash flow is really important for your business entrepreneur to be able to make decisions based on your financial position in the business. So planning your finances is part of the business plan, and it is also one of the things that I probably help the most with is just figuring out, where the money's coming from, how much your sales are going to be, how much your expenses are going to be, and of course, is there any money left over at the end? So planning. The next section talks about planning for your business structure. So there are 3 main types of business structures, a couple of others that are not as commonly utilized, but the first one is called a sole proprietorship. That is one person and one person only that operates the business. You and your business are looked at as one entity. And so therefore everything, all the risks and opportunities and also benefits in the business are related directly to that entrepreneur. So on this website, again, this is the BDC website, it talks a little bit about, what is the structure? What does it mean? It talks about some of the, I believe there's some, advantages and disadvantages of each of them. The second most common type is a partnership. So very similar to your sole proprietorship, a partnership is 2 or more people, and you and the business are one entity. And that becomes important when it comes to liability and things like that. So the third most common type is a corporation, and they are a legal structure that pulls you and your business as 2 separate entities, and that's often utilized for liability purposes. So again, feel free to read through, get some more information on each of the different types of organizations. And it's not a bad idea to talk to your accountant or your lawyer in order to get their opinion on what the best legal structure is for you. There are tax advantages to incorporating. There are some legal reasons you may want to incorporate, for example, and generally that is, something that a business with a higher level of liability, perhaps, that you might want to incorporate your business. So as a business counselor, I cannot give you that advice as to which one is best for you, because that is a legal and an accounting question to leave to those professionals. What I can say is that most businesses start out as a sole proprietorship or partnership, and as the business begins to get larger and perhaps takes on a larger amount of risk, then some businesses will decide to incorporate down the road. So that's my suggestion on that, is to get some good legal and accounting advice. Again, the accountants will also look at your own personal situation, if there's more than one income coming into the family, as well as what the tax advantages may be in order to incorporate or stay as a sole proprietor partnership. So again, those professionals are there to help us, and certainly get good advice on that. So once you've chosen that legal structure, the next is to then choose your business name. So that is the next step in the process of getting started in a business. Now, I will say that I have steps 1 through 15. Are they always in the same order? No, sometimes we move from one to the other, or we choose our business name before we choose a structure, or we're planning our finances before we complete the business plan. All those types of things happen, and they're not set in stone that they have to be in this order, but this is just a general order that we go into. So pardon me. So choosing a business name is very important. So selecting a good name, it should reflect the business that you're running. It should reflect the product or services that you offer. And you want to think about how your business will be perceived. So I'll use a little example. When I started my business back in 2014, I actually wanted to call my business Dreamweaver Horsemanship. And horsemanship, for those of you that are not aware, is the act or working with horses. It's really just as simple as that. However, when I really dove into the business plan and the research side of my business plan, I realized that my target market or my main customer was people that are new to the horse world. So they don't necessarily know what a term like horsemanship is. So when I did my survey, I put out a survey that had about 9 or 10 questions. And one of the questions on there was, choose your favorite of these 4 names. So I had Dreamweaver Ranch, Dreamweaver Horsemanship, Dreamweaver Stables, and Dreamweaver Equestrian Center. So those were the 4 names that I had to let people choose. And the one that I liked was Dreamweaver Horsemanship, and it was actually the bottom of the list. And I found that very interesting because people just didn't know what horsemanship was. And when I'm looking at my target market, I want to match my name to something that my target market will understand. So Dreamweaver Ranch, so if I say ranch, most people know what a ranch is. So just because it's a much more commonly used term. So that's an example of how selecting a good name. Now, I will say that the term Dreamweaver has value to me. That was the name of my first horse. So that's where that came from. So that part was sort of something that I felt was important to me. And then the rest of it, I had the survey actually helped me to choose. So it ended up really well, working out really well. So once you choose your business name, the next step, we're on step number 6, is to register your business name. So on the Government of Canada and on the Ontario website, it talks about registering your business name. And it also talks a little bit about what you need to do. So just in general, when you're thinking about registering your business name, you need to register both with the province and also with the federal government. And also possibly with your municipality. So depending on where your business is located, you may need to have to register with the local municipality. So for example, if your business is located in Fort Frances, or if you do business in Fort Frances where you're promoting or selling within the town limits, they have a bylaw that you are required to have a business license. So any business that's operating or selling in the town of Fort Frances is required to have a business license, which you can obtain from the town of Fort Frances. So if you do not live in Fort Frances, you want to check with your local municipality to see what they have as a requirement for registering your business with the municipality. Secondly is with the province of Ontario, and I'm going to send this email or this website out to you, just Ontario. Of course, Leanne's going to be very familiar with this one. The Ontario website, it does have a business and economy section. And it's in this section where you're going to register your business. I just have to find the correct link. And again, I will send this out to you. I'm just going to go back up because I missed it. Here we go, permits and licenses. Oh, no, that's BizPal. Let me go back 1 second here. So you can go to the Government Service Ontario website and you can search for your business name to see if it's available. And also here is where you would register your business. So I just bring this up because I want you to see how this looks so that you get to the right place when you are at that point. So this is where you can do your searches and register your business. So when you register with the province of Ontario, It's a $60 fee, and that is for a 5-year registration. I will also note, you'll get it in your email right away, within minutes. However, the province of Ontario does not notify you when your business name registration, it's called master business license at the top. They don't let you know when that expires. So that is up to you to keep track of that. And I know for myself, I use an iPhone. I just put it right in my iPhone as a little reminder in 5 years time that that's going to it's going to expire. So you need to renew that in 5 years time. And of course, make sure you're backing up your phone. So in case you get a new phone, it's going to be in there. So the next section is talking about getting your license and permits. So that is where BizPal, this is another online source that you can use. And this will help you to figure out what you need for your business, whether it's permits, licenses, if you're a restaurant, do you need to have any permits for that or certifications for that of any kind. So this will help you. You go ahead and launch BizPal, and it will ask you some questions, and it will also help you to figure out what you need. So that's where you can get the information, and then you go ahead and register for those licenses and permits. The next one is business insurance. So this is one of those things that we have to have as a business owner. Even the home-based businesses out there, please know that you do need to have business insurance or a business insurance rider on your insurance policy. It could be your homeowner policy. Excuse me, if you are using your vehicle for business purposes, frequently you might need to change your policies to reflect that. And so the two most common types of insurance that you'll need for your business are the commercial property insurance. So depending again, if it's home-based or if you have another location, you need your property insurance. If you are renting, then you will need your renter's insurance to cover that. And then of course your public liability insurance. So as an example with Dreamweaver Ranch, I have to make sure I have a very good public liability insurance policy because of course horseback riding has a higher risk level that someone could fall or get injured in some way. And so, in my case, I need to have waivers for everyone so they understand the risk that they're taking by participating. I have to make sure that my commercial property insurance is also in place so that all of it is working together. Some of the less common insurance types are your errors and omissions insurance. So that's if you have a board of directors. Buy-sell agreement, that's generally if there are partners in the business and then one person wants out, or if there's a death, then there's a buy-sell agreement. Or key person life insurance. So sometimes a business has a situation where, oh, I see someone else is coming in. Someone has a situation where the business is incorporated and perhaps the owner doesn't actually run the business, but they have a key person running the business. So that way it provides money if that person happens to die for life insurance. Again, the two at the top, your commercial property and liability insurance, are the two most common. And so you want to talk to whoever you have your insurance through now. I usually suggest start there, get a quote, look around just like you do with anything else, check your different insurance companies to see what they have to offer, and then get a policy in place. Next is choose your accounting software. So the BDC has an excellent listing here of all of the free and low cost accounting and invoicing software that you can use for your business. I will say the most common accounting software that my clients use is Sage Accounting, which used to be called Simply Accounting. And second most common is QuickBooks or Quicken. So those are sort of the main accounting softwares. This is really just for keeping track of your money in, money out. You're going to use it to help you with your year end for your tax purposes, but it's keeping track of the money in the business, which is very important, especially at tax time. So this talks a little bit about how does accounting software help, what does accounting software do, and then as we scroll down, there's a list of all of the free and low-cost accounting software and invoicing software. I don't have a lot of experience with most of them. Like I said earlier, I have seen, there's a Wave Accounting. I've seen some, the reports are not ideal on those, on that particular program, but perhaps something you want to look into. Sage is the most common, and QuickBooks is probably the second most common that I see. So, but you certainly can look through, and just as an example, it does, when you hit the plus button, it does give you all of the information that you're probably looking for to help you to make that decision. Free is not always better when it comes to accounting software, so it's something to think about. So choose whichever one is going to work best for you as part of the system or the steps. As far as record keeping, there is an excellent site on the Canada Revenue or Government of Canada page here that talks about income records, expense records, what you need to keep as far as record keeping, and also what constitutes income, what constitutes expenses, and how to sort of keep that information. It's always a good idea to have these. If you're not a skill, you don't have the skills of a bookkeeper, please reach out to a bookkeeper or accountant and have them set you up with a system that you can use to keep track of everything. There are a lot of different companies out there that can help you with that. So very good idea to keep good business records. I always say err on the side of caution. If you're not sure, is this a business expense or isn't it? Keep that receipt, talk to your professional, and they'll be able to help you. You have to have a receipt or a copy of a receipt in order to claim something in your bookkeeping. So if you don't have the receipt, it's not an eligible expense. So keep your receipts. It's better to keep them and not need them than need them and not have them. So err on the side of caution. So that is keeping records. Next on the list is your business taxes. So there are different types of taxes that you have to deal with, but the most common one for business is, of course, your HST. So it's GST in some provinces, it's HST in Ontario. And so the rule on registering for HST is that if your sales are over 30,000 in the last 4 quarters, you are required by law to register and collect HST on behalf of the government and submit that HST on either a monthly, quarterly, or annual basis. So therefore, it's important to keep very good records of your income so that you know when you reach that threshold. Also, keep in mind that there are some benefits to registering for HST right away. And for example, when you are a registered HST business and you buy things that you're going to, say, for example, resell, and you've paid HST out on that product, you will get back the HST that you paid on that item. So basically what you do is you keep track of all the HST you brought in, you keep track of all the HST you've paid out on your business expenses, and you remit the difference. So if you're not an HST registered business, you do not get that ability to claim back that HST, and it's called an input tax credit. You don't need to know those terms just yet, but that's what it is called. So good idea to read through to know exactly what the rules are and how that's all done. So there will be a link to the HST section of the Government of Canada website as well. So that is the main part of the business taxes. And of course, at the end of the year, with the help of your bookkeeper and accountant, you will do your business income tax. So you need to keep track again of all your income and expenses. You also need to keep track if you have outside income. So if you have a job plus a business, then you need to, it all gets added together at income tax time. So I'm not going to get a whole lot into income taxes, but if anyone has questions on that, feel free to let me know and I'll do my best to answer them or refer you to the appropriate professionals. The next step is to open a business bank account. And so I don't think I actually linked all of these. No. So the next, when you receive this email from me, I have actually linked all of the major business, major banks in this area. So Royal Bank, CIBC, TD, and Alterna. They all have links to a business account on their website. So I will send that out and you will be able to register for one of those accounts. I do recommend that you have a separate bank account for your business. Do not run it out of your personal account because it's very confusing for bookkeeping, and it's also better to keep it separate from your personal. Not to say that you can't draw money out of your business if you're making a profit. You certainly can do that by either writing yourself a check or transferring money to your personal. However, leaving it in your personal can just get very confusing. And if you're ever audited, they will audit everything if everything is in one. So again, separate bank account to run the business out of is probably the best way. The next section is the next step, is to set up your business location. So are you home-based? Or do you want to have a downtown business location? Or are you better off if you're in a more remote type of location? So how to choose the right location for your business. And if you talk to a lot of the marketing professionals, they'll say location, location, location. It is so important. I think we've learned lately, especially through the COVID pandemic, that our location isn't always as important as maybe it once was, simply because so many businesses have been forced to do things online or ship their products or have curbside pickup, those kind of things. So your location is important. By all means, it is important. However, know that, think things are opening up a little bit there where you may have a little bit more option available to you. The next step is to get your team ready. So you may or may not have more than one person in the business. So if it's just you and you're an owner operator, that is just fine. But if you choose to hire employees, then you need to learn how to do that and how to recruit. And the Business Development Bank of Canada, or the BDC, they also have an excellent website on learning how to hire the best employees for your business. Here locally in the Rainy River District, we have NCDS, Northern Community Development Services, that is an excellent tool and resource to help you with hiring employees. So they're a great tool here as well. So once your team is ready and you're almost ready to start, the next one is to promote your small business. So there are many, many ways to promote your business. So again, you need to have a strategy for that. That's part of your business plan, how you're going to reach your customer. And they even talk a little bit about some of the market research and developing the plan. And then we're at the point now where we've got the plan and we're ready to implement that plan. So promoting your small business, it could be a local promotion, you could do online promotion, or you may want to get into even larger types of promotions. And again, it depends on the business that you're running. So getting at promoting it, and marketing is, I just want to make sure everyone knows that marketing is not just advertising. There are many components to marketing. And again, I'm not going to teach a marketing class just today, but marketing strategy does have a lot of different components and is a very big part of the business planning process. So again, we can help with that and get you going. And finally, we're at the stage of startup. So to actually get your business started, get it operating, that's the fun part, is opening the doors or opening the business or opening the website maybe. This is where you actually get into operating the business. So you've promoted, you've got your team ready, you're ready to go. It's go time. So this is probably the most rewarding part of the whole process. And so it's a matter of getting started and choosing how you're going to operate the business. You may have to look at some of your policies and procedures, things like that. Or depending on the size of the business, it can be all just, a lot of times it's just one person starting out. So, and that's okay. It's just a matter of making sure that you're planning everything out. So that's the main steps to getting started. And then after you're started, keep in mind that you will also then have to look at evaluating your business afterwards. So once you've been running for a little while, and I usually recommend within 6 months of your business starting, that you sit back and you go, wait a minute, okay, where did I think I was going to be and where am I? So going back to that business plan and going, okay, did I predict, fairly closely as to what was going to happen? If not, how do you want to change it? How do you want to run it going forward? So I recommend between 6 months to 1 year that you go ahead and revise your business plan, because a business plan is never done until the business closes. So it's always something that is a working document that you're going to change with the times. Like, who knew a year ago we would be in a pandemic for a year? So a lot of businesses have had to evaluate and revise how they're doing their business and just be able to survive, right? So this is where you're going to constantly be looking forward and how you're going to change things and manage your business. And in some cases, a lot of businesses then decide they want to change and grow. So perhaps they want to get bigger or change a location or add more staff or perhaps a new product line, or many different ways that you can grow the business. So therefore, you have to look at, how do I now take that to the next level? And how, again, do I start looking at how to finance that? So that's, again, a very good process to go through in the planning and getting everything ready to be able to manage any growth that you might have. I'm just going to open one more document here. I don't know if you can see, you probably can't see that on this. Anyway. There. So I've talked a little bit about the future development, the steps to starting a business. I wanted to touch on upcoming webinars. So I am planning a webinar for about this time next month on how to apply for financing here at Rainy River Future Development Corporation. So if anyone is interested in that, I will be sending that out on email very shortly. And I just wanted to touch a little bit on the financing that we have available. And I don't know, Leanne, would you be interested in doing a little thing on the program that you have that just was announced? Or
I can give a few points on that, and also Jen Finley's here for my backup here, so I'm sure that between both of us we can give a quick update on our different funding we have.
Excellent. I started to kind of throw that at you without much notice, but I thought maybe you could just touch on a few things. So I'll talk a little bit about Rainy River Future Development and what we have available here. So we have our regular loan fund, and that fund is a program where you can borrow up to $500,000. We can do $150,000 within our organization. And we can do from 150 to 500,000 through another program that we have access to that we can help you with. So we do loans, loan guarantees, and equity investments. So term loans are basically borrow the money, pay it back. Our guarantees would be where we assist you with getting an operating line or a line of credit at your bank, and we assist with that. And so we call that a guarantee on a line of credit. And then an equity investment is generally something that is for things like manufacturing, larger site type businesses, where we would actually invest in the business as a non-voting shareholder. So that one's not as common, but certainly loans and loan guarantees are very common. So with our organization, one thing to note is that you do have to be declined by another financial institution in order to apply with Renewable Future Development. We also do partner with other programs, such as the one Leanne is going to talk about in a moment, where we sometimes with some of the funding programs, you have to spend the money before you can get the money back from the program. And we do some bridge financing for that. And bridge financing is basically we upfront you a loan and you spend that money, you get it back from whatever program you've been approved for, and then you pay back the loan. So it's just, that's what we call bridge financing to assist with that. So that's something that we do offer here as well. And I just wanted to touch quickly on our rate. So our interest rate is prime +2. Prime right now is 2.45. So we're lending at 4.45. And our terms are up to 10 years. So depending on the size of the business, or sorry, the size of the loan, the risk, I guess you would call it, we look at anything up to 10 years. And we do life insure all of our business loans as well. So that's something to keep in mind, as there is life insurance on that. We're actually offering two other programs at the moment. One is called the, sorry, I just got to grab that in front of me so I'm not. The post-COVID professional services relief. So if you're thinking about getting some professional services to help you with your business, so things like feasibility studies, financial assessments or financial training, business planning consultations, business development, marketing consultations, those types of things, you can actually get a small grant through, this is a FedNor program. It comes through us and it is approved up in Kenora through the Lake of the Woods Business Incentive Corp. So if anyone has the desire to hire a professional and would like some assistance with that, that one is a grant, although it's not through us, but it comes through us to get to the deciding factors. So that is called the Professional Services Relief Grant. And then we also have the COVID Safety Protocol Project. So that's a tongue twister, but it is for personal protective equipment or any type of adjustments you may need to make to your business, or in some cases to do some leasehold improvements in order to work through the COVID situation. So for an example, some of the eligible costs for that program would be employer and employee safety installation. So signs on the floors, plexiglass, that kind of thing, posters and displays, barriers. So if you need to put up barriers to keep people in line, so there's only so many at the store, for example, if you need to widen your aisles in your business, plexiglass, partitions and signage. So there's money available for that. And again, both of these programs, you do need to pay for the items and then submit the receipt and they'll reimburse you for that. So those two last ones are for people that are already in business. I should mention that. But the loans for the small businesses, that is for new businesses or existing businesses that want to expand. Or in some cases, if you choose to buy an existing business that's for sale, you can also access financing that way as well. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Leanne for a minute, if you don't mind, if you just want to touch on your program that you have available as well. I think specifically for the startup section.
Sure, no problem.
Thank you.
So just to give a little bit of background information. And just making sure everybody can hear me first before I start. Everything good?
Yeah, we
Okay.
can hear you. Thank you.
We updated our programs, just announced about a couple weeks ago, so they've changed a little bit. We do have 4 different streams, but the stream that is that Angela was talking about is underneath the Invest North program that we have. We have a launch, which is to start up a business. We got a grow, which is to expand your business, and then we got a locate. That's for businesses outside of Ontario who want to come and do business in Northern Ontario. So I'm just going to touch base more or less on the grow program and the launch program. Those are the 2 that pertain to this meeting here. What the grow program is for people who are starting up their business in Northern Ontario, hoping to create some job creation, some innovation ideas, and increase productivity in the north. Some eligible costs could be, construction, marketing up to 20%, some leasehold improvements, some equipment. If you have to do some land servicing, that's all eligible. There is ineligible costs like your rolling stock, like stuff that you would use to sell, or admin costs, restructuring or business plans are not eligible. We leave that up to Angela to help you with that kind of stuff. And one thing we need to note is with both of these funding is retail and services are ineligible for this program. Depends though, like if you are in tourism and you want to expand, or if you want to start up in tourism, or if you're manufacturing some good to sell to the public, you can be potentially eligible. So for the GROW program, you could get up to 50% of your eligible costs, up to $200,000 in conditional grant money. And our GROW program, our GROW program, did I say GROW last time? I can't remember. Did I say launch? That was our launch program where you get 50%. And then our GROW program, you can get 20% conditional grant. You have 3 options. You can just take a 20% conditional grant. You can take a conditional grant of 20% and plus a loan for 30%. And then the third option is you could just take a loan for 50% of the project. Other than that, yeah, if anybody has any questions, I can answer them if they'd like.
Oh,
Did I miss something, Jen? That was a quick overview.
Well, and I appreciate that because I really did kind of put you on the spot for some of that. I probably could have given you a bit of time to prepare, but I appreciate you going over those.
If anybody wants more detail on them, I'm here. Angela, when she's sending out the information from this, can put my cell phone number on there, and we can discuss further more in detail these programs, and maybe some other like our internship program. You might, depending on your business, you might be eligible for that as well. So
right.
I'm free for that as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Leanne. I appreciate that. So that is basically the end of the program. We're right around an hour, so I appreciate everyone sticking with us. Is there anyone that has a question they'd like to discuss, or just a comment even at all?
I'd like to say thank you very much for this program.
Oh, well, you're welcome. I appreciate you showing up and giving us your attention. Thank you for that. I guess Mercedes, did you have anything, or Jennifer, Leanne, anyone have any last questions? Okay, well, I guess that's it for today then. Well, I do appreciate you coming along with us. I am going to take this recording. It will be uploaded to YouTube, and as soon as I get that upload back, I will be sending out a link to everyone's email. I'm also going to be sending all of the links that I went through today on email as well. And again, I'm open to anyone that has questions. If you need some assistance with your business planning, getting registered, if you have questions, concerns, any of that, please feel free to get in contact with me. I'm happy to help. So with that, thanks again, and I will say goodbye for now. Bye.
Bye, Angela.